Welcome to From the Green Velvet Couch podcast. Through her professional career of being a life coach, therapist, and certified corporate wellness specialist, your host, Shelly O'Neal, has accompanied many on journeys of healing and personal wellness. Now join Shelly and her guest from the Green Velvet Couch.
Welcome, Dr. Raj. I'm very, very excited to have you as a guest today and as my dear friend, a renowned physician, to speak about the power of first love. And since you actually chose this topic, can you share a little bit about why it's important to you and your thoughts on it?
Great. Shelly, thank you again for having me on this show. It's an honor. Just like you mentioned, love is one of my favorite topics, love and friendship, because I believe the entire world will be boring without love, right? Love is the heat in the fire. And without the heat, the fire has no value. And what I believe personally is love is like an ocean so deep and it's full of fire and passion. And the only way to cross this ocean is by drowning in it. So that's how I feel about love. It sends tingles down my skin when I, think about this topic or when I talk about it.
And that's so powerful. And I want you to share too with our listeners a little bit about your culture. And I know you speak different languages. And I love the culture of love that you have grown up in and that you live in. And just share about that. That's very interesting, very intriguing. Just like you, Dr. Raj.
So, oh, thank you, thank you. I'm from India originally, from Punjab, and Punjab is known as the land of love. Actually, we have a lot of romantics in that part of the country, and all of us, love good poetry, good music, with romance being the undertone. And I do speak Sanskrit, Hindi, Punjabi, and also English. So I'm honored and blessed that I can feel in four different languages. So it means I can feel four times more love than anybody else and feel four different types of loves and expressed in four different ways. So growing up in India was a good experience. We have a lot of romance in the air. So we have our, local musicians and local poets. And the culture itself is spiritual, it's very spiritual. But at the same time, love and romance is a big part of our life. And as you know, love is powerful, right? Love is passion, love is the fuel that drives us all. And there's different types of loves, right? There's love you feel for your mom and your country, your brothers and sisters. I think today the love we're going to focus on is the romance, right? Love for your romantic partner. So, I'm very proud to be a part of a very romantic culture. And, really growing up in India and Punjab with all the music and the culture, the way we perceive and pursue our love interest is different. It's different than America. For us, it's very spiritual, very metaphysical. When we look at somebody that's beautiful and gorgeous, the first thing we are attracted to is their energy and the aura. And that's what we like. That's what we fall in love with, the energy, the heat, the vibration. And then, of course, when they're pretty, there's an icing on the cake. So that's how it is in our culture. We literally love the person, we love the soul. And like I said, since we have Sanskrit, Hindi, Punjabi as the core local languages, we feel and we express love in different ways. And then since we have three different options to express love in, we are very blessed. We write love poems, we have very good romantic music, and my culture drives Bollywood, which is world famous.
Yes. Well, and I think, knowing you like I do, you're a very intense person. I think you feel very deeply. And I know that that comes across to your patients. You have just a fantastic, medical career. And then with your friends and your family as well. I love how the physicality and the appearance of someone is not the first attracting thing, which can be very different from the American culture. There's a lot of emphasis that's placed on a person's looks and a lot of money is spent as well. But what you're saying is in your culture, it's really on the energy and the vibration and spiritual connection. Is that right?
Absolutely right. And I think, again, not to impose, our beliefs on other cultures, but it is my firm belief, for having lived in India and also, having been in the US for so many decades now and being blessed to have two different cultures at my disposal, I do believe that the spiritual and the deeper side of things is more fulfilling to the human soul than the physical side of things. Because, all of us are born to die, right? We start dying the moment we are born. But the soul stays the same. Soul does not age. So if you love somebody's soul and you maintain that connection, the love, the bond, the passion, the fire, the desire, just like I said, it's an ocean full of fire and passion where we just drown in that fire. When your soul is just drowning in that passion of fire, you don't age. And that's where I think people can have more meaningful bonds where they can feel the power of love. But if you just look at physicality, it's temporary, right? It changes like the weather. But the soul never ages, the soul never dies. And when you leave, the love will leave an impression on the world that, wow, those two were in love. That's how I believe.
Which is lasting, which then can be passed, the love of a couple, love of a partnership, love of their family. It is the legacy that they can leave. So I think that's one of the great benefits of love. Talk to me a little bit about a new relationship and how that makes us feel from your perspective. I know how I feel, but what does that mean to you?
Absolutely. Again, that's a great question again, Shelly. Boy, oh my, I feel like a teenager again. I feel like I'm in love again. Feel like I'm 12 again, and I'm looking at my first crush. So, in your relationship, it really just colors everything brighter, right? The sun shines brighter, the birds are more chirpier, music is more sweeter, the air tastes sweeter, water is sweeter, everything is sweeter, and everything is so colorful, and the colors are so enhanced. And I do believe, with first love and deep love, you do feel that the time stops. I want to say love is a device, a tool that can freeze time and space. And then you can bend it backwards and just play with it, because that's a part of love, because it is more of energy, right? It's a play of pure energy and passion and vibrations. I do believe that when you're in love in the moment, say you're looking in the eyes of your lover, right?
Mhm.
10 hours can go by and you're like, oh my God, 10 hours have gone by. I mean, everything feels like a blip. So I do believe that love has the ability to interfere with the space-time continuum. And that's the power of love, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, on top of everything else, it makes you feel. And I do believe strongly that love transforms you. Like in my experience in my life so far, love has transformed me. Like every time I feel those feelings, as you go through them, and after that, you're a different product. It is almost like God sends love into your life to metamorphose you into a different person. I always believe that initially when love happens, right, we fall in love. That's how it's, like I said, it's an ocean, you're going to drown in it, but eventually when you come out as a different person, which hopefully that should be the goal, where you come out as a better version of yourself, right? Happier, healthier, more successful, more confident, feeling good. Like love should make you feel more nurtured, where you feel nourished, because love is the nutrition for the soul. It nourishes your soul, your mind, your spirit, right? And if love is not serving those purposes, you're going to have to reconsider your own definition, your perception, and your choices of love. Because in my book, you have to initially fall in love. It is stressful, it is panicky feeling, your neurochemicals change, right? You know what's going on. It's like how Alice fell down the rabbit hole, right? That's a lover's feel. It's like downward spiral. But
Mhm.
eventually, love should elevate you to much, much, much higher grounds than where you were before. That's how I feel about love.
And I like that you mentioned that love is ageless. So these emotions, regardless if you're a teenager or you're into your 90s, those emotions that love and in a first love, they're the same. They don't fade over time. It's just when I work with people who maybe have lost a spouse that they've had for many years, then to see them find a healthy person for companionship and another partner, it's exciting. And they will say to me, it's like I'm a teenager again. I had this long life and this good life. And now that I'm starting over, like I have those very same emotions I remember feeling, at the first. And speaking of chemicals, there's some great studies that show that the dopamine that our brains produce in a new relationship, those bursts, they're much more powerful than in a long term committed relationship, which, it correlates with your relationship becoming more stable and steady and predictable, which are all good things. But your brain is just firing, in the new part of a relationship. It's just literally on fire. It's the water and fire analogy.
Absolutely. To me, just to be on the lighter side of things, love is like cocaine plus steroids. I mean, that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
brain, the way it moves and thinks and reasons. You almost feel there's multiple compartments inside your brain, and they're
Mhm.
all arguing with each other, right? Everybody's debating and they're analyzing things, and sometimes analyzing too much, right? Where you become obsessive. And then, like I said, that's why it depends on the type of attachment, right? If it's healthy attachment, it should elevate you. But love does have that effect on the brain neurochemistry and physicality too, where brains, it's like, oh my God, what's going on here? Who put this cocaine in me and the steroids on top of that? Somebody help me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of that, when I was considering the question, what makes a great love? And, imprinting, so that very first love that we experience, it actually is the ruler that we typically measure future partners and future relationships by. So, negative or positively. So, if that first relationship and first partner is healthy, then it sets the stage that your future relationships can be, or at least that's your reference point. So I think that's really interesting. But that imprinting, and particularly when I work with males that will talk about, that early attachment and that first love. And it always gets back to what about that time, if it's a good relationship and healthy, they always say things like, I felt confident. I felt like I had a lot of self worth. And maybe it was the first person that, maybe they came from a family with a lot of dysfunction, but they were validated in a healthy way. So, all that's to say, when I hear men talk about first relationships of how good they felt as a male and how recognized that they were and validated as a human being, that's what the love is.
Absolutely, Shelly. Again, that's a great point, and I'm going to answer that leveraging my advantage of being from the culture of love and multiple languages and ways of thinking. I'm going to answer that in a metaphysical and spiritual manner. I think that will really, resonate well with people who like to feel the fire of love and still try to logically define it and still cannot get a handle on things because love is illogical, right? It's illogical, it's metaphysical, right? So I strongly believe in a saying, and the saying goes this way: in every lifetime, I'll find you. So when I look at that, right, I'm getting goosebumps too as I said that. I really believe that love chooses you. And since I'm from a culture, of spirituality, and we believe that the soul never dies, right? Soul never dies. Love is an energy, it's a vibration. And if you look at energy and matter, right, it cannot be destroyed or cannot be created. So it has to continue. So if that vibration of love has continued through, ends of times, right? I'm just saying we don't know how vast space and time is. If it's continued in an unchanged format, and now say these two streams of energy are meeting again, they meet again and you feel this love connection. So do you say that's karma, that's destiny, that's kismet? There's a word called kismet, Kismat. Kismet means destiny in Hindi and Sanskrit. So I always believe that love finds you, and sometimes at weird places. And that's where, when people fall in love, I always believe that they should look at the spiritual side of things as well. I mean, I'm not just saying they'll, get into meditation or yoga, but I think love is much more than lust and just simple, oh my God, she looks hot or he looks handsome. Love is beyond the skin. But I think when we put things in perspective, it's important to look at that, way of thinking about love, that it continues maybe from a previous birth. Because I believe in reincarnation. Again, not everybody will. And I'm just, saying what I believe in and what the culture I come from believes in. And reincarnation, again, it's a very simple thing as Body dies, but love never dies. Soul never dies. So if the same two streams of love from different dimensions who had met before and they continue moving forward and they take physical form again, they meet again. So it means if you are in love today with somebody so deeply where you want to drown in the ocean of fire and passion and just want to drown and just be weightless and just float, it is possible. This is from your previous karma, from previous birth. Maybe they were your lovers in the previous birth too. I believe in that. I strongly believe in that. So in every lifetime, I'll find you. So I always believe when you're lucky, when you're blessed, love comes in and blesses you, because I really believe love is God's gift to humanity, and love is God's gift to the whole universe.
Oh, that's just beautiful, Dr. Raj. The way that you described that, what a fantastic mantra. Say that again. I will find you.
In every lifetime, I will find you.
Wow.
And this is love talking, not the person talking, because physicality, right? Physicality is temporary, it disappears. But love, the vibration of love, is forever. It'll find you in every lifetime. And I always believe that we have so many, lifetimes, right? Our body dies, we turn into ashes, and everything goes back to earth, the universe, but the soul continues. And if the energy and the synergy, the vibration is so strong, those two streaks of light will find each other again in a different universe, because we don't know how many universes out there, right? So I'm going out there literally in a metaphysical way, and also putting a limit on science. Right? We only know what we know, and where our thinking stops, that's where your universe starts to think. So what we feel, and we don't know why we feel this way, is because our limitation as mortals, right? The universe is immortal, it's evolving, it's logic, it's so beyond what we can even fathom. That's what I believe. And it just, it's a great feeling. I mean, being in love is a great feeling.
And it's so healing, as well. I find it interesting when I'm working with couples or individuals, or I'll be talking with my friend group. We talk about those very first relationships, when our children were very young, those first experiences just in becoming a healthy adult. What people will say they're attracted to today is because there was a connection very early on that made them feel safe or good or cared for or something. So connecting that. So when people are sharing, I'm struggling, I'm not finding my partner that I want, there's no one out there. It's really hard. And particularly for people who have been divorced and then they start over. One of the things I always ask is, what's your idea of a partner? And when you break it down, a lot of times it goes back to that very first person. I had a friend who said, she was attracted to very masculine men who they worked with their hands, they could fix things, and they were very resilient and strong. But it wasn't the physical composition of their body. It got back to feeling safe, protected, and cared for. So I thought there was a psychological connection to the physical things she would say that she wanted in a partner. So I think looking back at that first love and say, I'm attracted to this personality, I'm attracted to this line of thinking or these interests. It can be, not always, but it can be linked back to that first positive relationship that we had.
Agree 100%. I really believe that first love and first attraction, it almost calibrates and recalibrates every cell of your body. Every cell's vibration changes. If I was to explain this in a more natural way, I think of love like a tornado. All right, it's a tornado, and you have this, very calm and composed river just doing its business flowing. Love comes in and just churns it up. That's what love is. Now going forward, the direction of the river may change, right? The way the water moves will change, and then of course tornado is gone. And hopefully, if that's true love, hopefully it get absorbed, and the energy will just stay in the water, and it still will change. But as you go forward, and say if for some reason that doesn't work out, some of the air leaves, right? And the residual that stays is still going to be different than before. Now, when another tornado comes in, it's going to counteract and it's going to interact with a different type of flow of the river. So that's how love is, right? It comes in, changes every part of you. your mind, your body, your soul, your physicality, your thinking, your logic, your insecurities, what you think of yourself, how you look at the world, how you interact with people. Try again, describe again in a natural way. It's almost like a chain reaction where electrons or particles just keep bombarding. And every time you bombard, you're encountering a different version of the original particle. It's like evolution, right? It just evolves you. And if you are lucky, you find your true love where it just sticks with you, and then your whole life you have one partner. I mean, literally, blessed are those people who find true love, where the soul is so fulfilled and satisfied. It's like somebody in the desert who's thirsty finds an oasis, right? That's how love is, right? It's an oasis in the desert for somebody who's dying from thirst. That the feeling what you get when you drink water, when your lips are parched and you're about to die, water has the ability to give you life and nurture you, right? Bring you back to life and just change you. And that's how love is. Love is like, a dying person. Love is to soul what water is to a dying person in the desert. Or love is to the soul what is a first rainfall is to a desert, where desert is just dry and barren. There's nothing. You got nothing going on. Love falls in, right? Then they get the fresh smell of mud. Like everything changes. And then there's vegetation, right? So I think in every part of the universe, there are, various ways you can define love. And there's other examples of love or something which is equivalent of love will change the particular scenario. I mean, love nurtures, like true love should be nurturing. I mean, like I said, love is like a tornado. It hits your soul, it hits the river of your soul. Well, if you want to go even bigger, it is like a tsunami in the ocean, right? The ocean's minding its own business, happy. This wave comes out, and then suddenly the water splashing all over, and the ocean's like, oh my God, I can't help myself, right? You are helpless because the energy is so strong because it's just beyond physical. And then it takes the ocean time to come back to normal, right? That's the healing phase. Or let's say if the love sticks with you and you're blessed, then you come back to normal, but you still got to be a different version of what you were before. But if the tsunami comes and goes, and then you are traumatized by love, now that your healing phase gonna be starting after that as well. Then you have to wait for the next tsunami, and then you will respond differently to the next tsunami of love and energy.
Oh, that's beautiful. As a therapist, as a coach, I work a lot with companies and all. I've had the luxury of watching people go through a lot of trauma and a lot of sad things, but there's honor in that. And you know what I'm speaking to as a physician. And I love two things. I love when women come to me and they don't feel great about themselves, but their husband or their partner is there and they're saying, but I don't see that. I don't see those flaws. I'm in love with who you are. I'm in love with what we've built. It's not about perfection. And I think that is true love. The true love, it doesn't fade as our bodies fade, which is what you were speaking to. And then also watching people who have been together many years, they're at that last season of life, sharing that and being there for the other as, one does exit before for the other one, just seeing the pain in that, but there's also the beauty in that. And what I've seen up close and personal is that it's not diminished and it doesn't go away because of the physical death. And I think in order for that to happen, it has to be something so powerful that it can outlive the mortality of our physical bodies.
So you read my mind. I was gonna say this. Like I said, love is so unique. Love is like a knife where when it cuts you, the pain is sweet, but you're addicted to the cut. And love is like this fire that burns you, but it is so sweet. The burn is so sweet, feels so good to burn. You want to keep burning in it. So you see, love is the other name of pain. It's just, you flip the coin, it becomes pain. And then on the other side is love slash pleasure. When people have heartbreaks or when they lose a loved one, they grieve, right? The toughest part, that is the sad part, which all of us have to deal with one day, right? The mortality side of things, right? Even though we can talk about the spiritual side of things, as human beings, we get caught up in day-to-day life. But in reality, love hurts. Love hurts. It is a constant burning fire, but the fire is so sweet and you want to burn in it. But when the fire stops burning, it scars you more when the fire stops burning. The whole missing, right? You miss a burn. I think that's more traumatizing because the burn is so pleasurable. The endorphin is so pleasurable. I think it's the loneliness that comes after the burn is over. That's what scars you for life. And that's what takes years to heal, right? I'm sure you heard this before. I think it's public domain. I don't know the name of the poet. The phrase is, it take seconds to like somebody, minutes to fall in love, and years to forget. I
Yes.
mean, it is so deep. It is so true. Seconds. You ask somebody, why do you like this person so much? I don't know. Why do you love this person? I don't know. But then years to forget is that when it stops burning. I think that's where the more pain is. The more pain is in the healing phase after the burn, because the burn is enjoyable. You
Mhm.
know, just to refer back again, love is an ocean of fire and passion so deep, so deep. You want to burn in it, you want to drown in it, and it is enjoyable. But when you come out of it, you're like, why am I out of it? It's like you were in a coma, but you're angry and sad to be out of coma, right? That's why love is illogical. It turns the world upside down. If you ask Romeo and Juliet, what do you like about each other? Well, I don't know. And in our culture, we have many, lovers, two famous lovers. What do you like about each other? I don't know. But you put them together, they make stories and they change generation. They create empires, right? I mean, people will go out and do things they would not otherwise do. You love somebody and you want to conquer a kingdom for them. That fire will make them do things they would not otherwise do. So, that's why love is so complex. It is this strange nuclear fuel that just fuels your mind, your body, your soul, changes the space time dynamic, and propels you in a different direction where hopefully you're lucky and blessed with a better version of you, because love is so powerful. I think it's more powerful than the biggest nuclear weapons. It can change the world and the whole universe. That's where the power of love lies. It is unmeasurable, it's unfathomable. And if you found true love in your life, just like, somebody who's in the desert and they're just thirsty and dying and the lips are sticking together, the sip of water, that feeling they get, that's how true love is. If you're lucky, if you have that in your life, throughout your mortal life, and you don't have to withstand the loss of love, you're blessed. Be thankful if you have that feeling. That's why you got to ask yourself, do I feel this way? Is my love satisfying my soul, right? Physical needs are secondary, but the soul needs are primary. It should make you feel good, should nurture you. That's how I feel about love, It's such a powerful gift given to us, and we just want to make sure we drown in it, drown in love. It's February, drown in it, but make sure you don't drown too much.
Yeah,
Because
exactly. Well, I think you're right. I think, you want to saturate your life in it.
yeah,
And particularly the month of February, where there's a lot of focus on love. But at the end of the day, it is a gift. It's a gift at every age. It's a gift, whether it's a romantic love or the love you have for a child or whoever, but it is a gift. And I think connecting those first relationships and the power of those to why we make the current decisions about relationships and partners that we do, I think that in and of itself is very worthy. And it's important to know are we choosing the same people? Is that working for us? Are we choosing different people because we should? But at the end of the day, regardless, the gift of love and a healthy love is a gift, and we're all better for it. And it does help create the better versions of ourselves that lives on, even though our physical bodies do not. So, thank you so much. That was profound and intense and entertaining, just like yourself, Dr. Raj. So, I always enjoy you.
thank you. We have saying in our culture, and this is something, for people who are in love for the first time or second time, they say the scent of love and the fragrance or scent of perfume. No matter how much you try to hide, it comes out. So if the love is true and there's love, it's gonna just fizzle into the air, and you will smell it, people will feel it around you. Like, that's how powerful it is. It's like a perfume.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, wonderful. Please, everyone, go to Dr. Raj's bio and check him out. He has just a fabulous career and just a great contributed so much to humanity and the health of our bodies and the health of our mind and our spiritual, process as well. So I'm just thankful to get to call you my dear friend, and thank you for, your thoughts on love, and I look forward to talking with you again. So
Great.
reach out, follow us on ShellyO'NealWellness.com and from the Green Velvet Couch.